First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Hey friends, we're gonna make a podcast. We got season 2, episode 15.
Oh yeah.
Unopened Letter to the World. Now the original air date for this was February 22nd, 2005. And our synopsis is: the students of Tree Hill High make a time capsule that they expect to be opened in 50 years. That's a long time from now. So Anna struggles with what to reveal about herself. Nathan continues down his downward spiral. And Peyton and Jake,
Is there anything else to say but that?
go on their first date. I'm blushing just thinking about it. And Brooke really starts to think about what she can do as president. I want to start this by saying I felt the Haley void. Like, we knew there were going to be episodes that Haley was not in. And Joy, it really bothered me a couple episodes ago when you said you felt like they were testing the waters to see if the show could float without you. And to me, the answer is a firm no. Like, I really miss the energy that you bring, and it balances our dynamic in a way that I think is really important. I missed you this epised.
Oh, thanks. I missed Haley in this episode too. Being able to be more objective now and sitting back and watching. I miss that. There's a groundedness. There's a grounded thread that she, even in her confusion about where she is, who she wants to be, what choices she wants to make, there's still just something grounded about her that I think helps with the tone of everything in the show. And yeah, I missed her too.
It feels weird, everybody talking about her, and she's not there to defend herself. Like, there's never a check-in.
But you know what I will say works? I'm like, oh yeah, the void we're feeling is the chasm that actually gives way for Nathan and Lucas to both be such a mess.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know, like,
boys.
Like, these boys are drowning without you, the romantic interest and the best friend. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like it. And I guess that's why, I mean,
it works.
You know, shitty guy in charge aside, I guess that's why they were doing it. It like actually works. They're like, what happens if she leaves? And it's like, oh, everything falls apart. Accurate.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I cried twice watching this episode.
Me too. Guys, there were no secrets left in this episode. It all came spilling out everywhere.
just
Like a big mess.
beautiful.
A big, beautiful mess.
And this was one of those episodes where they really tapped into what I think our show did at its strongest, which is when the writing of all the vignettes tied together and you get this bookend of Whitey watching his younger self. Fun fact, that was Barry Corbin's son with, you know, a buzz cut playing young Whitey. And we all cried at the end when Whitey cried. But you see all these little moments, like, you know, Peyton calls Jake a fox, and then you cut to Karen and she says to Andy, he won't outfox me. And then Brooke and Lucas and Felix are talking about surprises, and then it cuts to Erica Marsh saying surprise. And like all these little things, they did such a good job kind of giving you these slices of life of everyone. And in watching it, you know, the way the fans do, I'm like, look at all these people doing dumb shit without Haley around.
Yeah. We need our mother.
I mean, aside from Peyton and Jake, that is. You guys were cute.
Let's talk about it. I can't even.
That scene in the hallway by the lockers.
You smell insanely good today.
Oh my God. I can't.
I can't stand it. I was losing my mind. Hilarie's covering her face.
And you, by the way, trying to be cool and being like, that's presumptuous.
There was zero acting happening. Honestly. And like, we were such good friends. He friend zoned me so hard. And so I would have to be like, yeah, cool. No, I'm definitely not looking forward to these scenes where we have to kiss. Ooh, gross, you're my friend. But everyone, including Greenberg, knew that I thought he was the fucking cat's pajamas.
I love you, Hilarie.
I did. No, but even I had a boyfriend at the time. And I remember Greenberg would like fly into Wilmington and like be like, hey, can I like stash my guitar at your house? I just don't want to leave it in the hotel.
God.
And I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever you want, dude.
Totally.
Like my house is your house. Cool. And my boyfriend would come home from work. Be like, whose shit is this? Get it out of here. He's not hanging out here. Greenberg is that guy that all the girls wanted and all the boys wanted to be because he's just effortlessly cool.
He's so naturally masculine in that kind of like, in that way that just makes you swoon, like the romance novel way that makes you swoon, the lean in and knowing how to say, but it's not fake. That's the thing. We've seen it so many times, especially on CW shows where guys show up and they do the thing that's supposed to be sexy. They do the lean and the eyebrow goes up and they lean in the door frame and they're just like.
They look constipated.
Because it's so forced. It is so natural from him, from BG, man. It just comes right from his gut. It's so good.
And it's not, there's no push behind it.
No.
He's not trying to prove it.
Yeah.
And like, isn't that swagger when somebody just is and it's low key? And he's a little quieter than everybody else. And it makes you want to lean in and listen.
Yeah.
Are we
And he laughs
Is
at
that what's
himself.
happening?
No, listen, he laughs at himself. And that's what's so great is that when he's like, hey, man, I'm a single dad. I'm a high school dropout. I'm getting ready to go on my first date since my daughter was born. I'm a catch, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's how he is in real life, too. Like, he is able to laugh at himself in a way that disarms other people. And specifically for Peyton, who does have so many trust issues.
Yeah.
Who has so many walls up. What he is able to provide is like a really safe, gentle space.
Yeah. I mean, in the bedroom, Jake finds condoms and it leads them not to having sex, but to having this really vulnerable conversation. And you admit it in the sweetest way that, you know, you're nervous. And he's just like, let's take it slow.
Yeah.
Oh, and you said it, Hilarie. I wrote it down. It's in my notes. You said, name a more perfectly scripted boy character. And Joy and I both went, can't.
Nope.
Honestly, like the boys on Dawson's Creek, the boys on Gossip Girls, the boys, you know, on like any of the other shows. I'm sorry, Jake Jagelski gets the trophy. He's king of cool.
Yeah.
He is
King
indeed.
of cool. You told him he got cool points for that.
And he is, you know, we obviously love Jake Jagelski very much. And it's a lot easier to come in and play an arc of a really great character than it is to like have to do it every single episode for 10 years. You know, the other boys really got put through the ringer because it's like, how do we constantly find interesting things for them to do? And so because Jake was limited to, you know, what is it, 3 seasons?
Yeah.
You know, his stuff is really quality. It's really controlled. And his narrative is strong, and he never has to do any like weird B storylines that undermine.
I mean, he never have to eat a heart.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't have to do any dumb shit. So he can just like stay true to who he is without having to be like, what are we going to do this week with Jake Jagelski? But I think that conversation in the bedroom was important, and I appreciate that a lot of the concerns we were voicing about teenage sexuality were heard. Yeah. And that this is an example of that where it's like, oh, maybe the girls will commit more to their storylines if like we try to portray an accurate version of what teenage sexuality is. And so you can have lost your virginity in high school and still not be like a sex machine. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
The idea that Peyton is specific in her, look, I did this, that doesn't mean I'm going to do it every time.
Yeah. I love that. I love setting that example.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important thing for us to look at because, you know, we listen to you guys and we read all your questions and we read all your feedback. And somebody said something that got us all talking offline about how, you know, some of the ways we've talked about our characters' experiences made somebody think like, well, am I supposed to be ashamed that I had sex in high school? This was a question
no.
from a listener. And we were like, oh my God, no, that's not the point. The point when we talk about this stuff is that we as young women were being put in sexual situations we didn't agree to by a bunch of men old enough to be our dads. And it felt very upsetting. And it felt like a lot of that stuff, especially for Brooke Davis, certainly at moments for Peyton, felt like grown male fantasy of teenage girls.
Yeah.
And it was hard for us. And I think that's why we find like the Haley and Nathan becoming an intimate sexual couple to be beautiful. And it's exactly why I'm so glad that you said what you just said, Hilarie, because it's like, look, you do what you want to do, but don't let anyone in the world say that because you're not ready, something's wrong with you, or because you have, you're just supposed to be ready for it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how people are.
Yeah.
And it's so nice, I think, for us to be getting to a point where these characters are becoming more real women with real complex experiences rather than like, you know, Tiger Beat poster girls in cheerleading uniforms that like,
let me rip that
men-
shirt off.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
ew, gross. And so suddenly I feel like I'm actually watching teenagers again. And it's so sweet. And
Why
I love
do you
it.
guys think that all started to happen? I mean, I know we were sort of putting up fights and having conversations. It wasn't always a fight. Sometimes it was a conversation. There were maybe more women in the writer's room. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys know more about what was going on there than I do.
I mean, I think that our performances are better when we're doing things that we like. Do you know what I mean? It's like there was a certain element of like, let's play to each other's strengths, whether that's in the writer's room or that's on set. And so I can see in us as young actresses on the show, I can see in the boys, like in Chad's confessional in this episode when he's talking about the brothers stuff.
Yeah.
Chad loves his brothers in real life. And so Chad talking about brotherhood in this episode, that's real to him. And that performance is great. And so for us, Brooke Davis doing the leadership stuff and like being inspired and being more, that's real.
Yeah.
Peyton talking about these major trust issues, that's real. You singing is real, you know? So the things that we got to explore that were closest to us, I think are the things that we really thrived in.
That's a great point. Soph, you really came alive as Brooke in a new way, I think. I don't know if it's been, I feel like it's been happening over the course of the episodes, but I saw something different in this one and I loved how Lucas was encouraging Brooke's intellectual growth and just the way that it was seeing Brooke turn this corner in her life and realizing that she's worth so much more, which it's not something that we've never seen her have this moment before. I think I was just really recognizing her sink into it for the first time. Do you have memories about this episode or how the storyline started to change for you once she became class president?
Yeah, totally. I felt closer to her. And I remember shooting that party. And you know, Hilarie, you were like, why are there all these goth kids there?
It was honestly
That was kind of random.
Hot Topic threw up every customer they had in,
Big time.
in North Carolina, and they're like, send them to the Tree Hill set. We need more beanies. We need more ripped fishnets.
It was great. And I think, you know, they did it to make it very clear that this wasn't like a normal Tree Hill party. Everything looked different. The music was different. And I remember how sweet it felt. You know, we were at the point where like we couldn't totally go out in town anymore without being recognized and like things happening. And I don't know, this isn't a judgment of the people who recognize us for being on TV. This is my feelings as an anxious person. That got really hard for me. Like it gave me a lot of social anxiety.
Well, because they expected you to be Brooke Davis out in public.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I think I've done enough pondering on the privilege of being in people's homes with them. But what happens when you're in someone's home with them every week is that you're real familiar to them. But to you, they're still strangers. And it got very strange for me, the combination of being familiar and also of being Brooke Davis, who was very sexualized, a lot of people would touch me in ways that made me very uncomfortable. And it took me years to figure out how to start setting boundaries around that stuff with strangers because I like never wanted to ruin anyone's day. But I say all of this to illustrate, like, it tugged on my heartstrings seeing Brooke and Lucas and Mouth and Anna kind of find their way to that side room at the party.
Yeah.
And Brooke seeing Erica like that and going, I'm not having a good time. And I know I've been there and that's not a good time either. It all just felt cathartic for me. And I've so often been the person who's gotten other people home.
Yeah.
And just like camp counseled my way through things. And yeah, I don't know. I loved being at this point with her where she didn't need to like be the party, cheer everyone on, make everyone take shots. She was like, I'm actually just not feeling this and I want to go home and read a book. And I loved it.
She was excited to get home and just flip through that book that Lucas gave her.
I know she was.
And then the
I loved
metaphor of like the quote that she's reading, you know, she's talking about, you know, don't let the things of the past get in the way of the future. And Lucas has given her this beautiful book that is looking to her future, her presidency. And Felix has thrown her this like raging, weird party.
She's
that is very
outgrowing
much her
Felix.
past.
Yeah.
And these boys are now embodying past and future.
Yeah.
And so we know what she's gonna pick.
I love it. I love it. And I think she's finding purpose at the same time as Lucas is really reclaiming his nobility. You know, he was a character who lost his way in season 1, and here he is being a good guy, and he's showing up for Keith, and he's showing up for Nathan, and he's showing up for Haley even while she's gone.
Yeah.
And that trajectory for them feels so much more rooted in integrity than like two people who just decided to hook up a year ago, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Well, sometimes you have to take a couple steps back. Do you know what I mean? There have been people in my life where it's like, oh, we kissed. And they're like, oh, what an asshole. And then you don't talk for a little while. And then you come back and you slowly rebuild, you know? And it's like, oh, actually, there are things that are lovely about you that don't involve, you know, swap and spit. And let's, you know, get to know those things. And I think Brooke and Lucas are a great example of that because it was real hot and heavy, real fast in season 1 with no like real payoff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. And Brooke Davis invented Uber. I don't know what else to say about it.
Girl!
God, it's coming. DWI.
Just
DW
working
not
on safe
DW.
rides. What is it?
I
Did
know.
you
Why
say
don't
an
we
app?
just launch that app and we can only hire drivers that were like student government presidents because we know they won't sexually assault you. I'm so weirded out with like, you know, pickup apps because I'm like,
gosh.
you know, I see all the news and I'm just like, this is the worst. I would love for a high school senior who just needs like a job to pick me up.
That would
not
honestly
gonna
be
do it.
very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that she saw Erica in that place. God, and I love Brooke and Erica together. Oh,
I
God.
love them. I said
That's
that
a
when we were
dream
watching
team.
it. Wow, what a great team.
They're so good. And this idea that she took Erica home from a party and came up with this idea, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, there has to be something here. So she sits working on her laptop and comes up with a safe ride program. I just love it.
Let's
And
talk
again,
about this
Catherine.
Felix party. The Felix party, oh, like, is he part of like a secret weirdo club?
What do you mean?
Because-
Because there were so many randos at the party?
That
Where
was
did he find all those people?
He went to the mall. He went to Hot Topic.
But it was such a weird scene for a high school party too, because they also all seemed older
Yeah.
in a way. But it wasn't college kids. It was like the coffee house kids that do slam poetry. I mean, literally who I hung out with in high school. But in terms of weird parties for Tree Hill,
It was weird.
So
Also
far.
interesting that Anna had no feedback about it. Like they didn't write Anna having any sort of commentary or judgment on her brother's friends, which now in hindsight feels like a miss.
She's just like, this is Felix. Felix is
She's
a
like,
secret
whatever.
freak, dude. I'm telling you.
You're probably right.
What if he's dancing with glow sticks in his basement? Like when he like leaves Brooke.
Or like those flaming balls on strings.
But remember, he used to also like beatbox when we would be filming.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's just downstairs with glow sticks, like beatboxing, doing weird
Beatboxing.
stuff. What's the
Doing
weirdest
weird
party you
stuff.
ever went to in high school?
Ooh. I didn't really get invited to a lot of parties in high school. What?
Well, Joy, you were working on a soap opera. You
Yeah,
were
you
going to
had a
like
job.
adult things.
Yeah, I was a little bit of a grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
trying
trying
to
to remember. Oh, you know what I did do? I remember spending I hung out with Jessica Biel on her 17th birthday in New York because we were both why was I in that circle? I can't remember because I wasn't on the show yet.
You were hanging out with the
but it
CW,
was,
with the
but
WB girls.
I think I was 18 or 19. I was on a soap at the time, yeah. And it was like a all night. I remember she had a limo and going to different clubs, and
That sounds fun.
she was a sweetheart. I loved her.
Yeah, Jessie Biel's cool.
Yeah, but
so nice.
I just remember it was like at 4:00 in the morning, the limo pulling over and going into another club, and I was like, "Oh, guys, I'm going home.
I have to
It's
go
just like,
to bed.
I can't. I don't do this stuff. Have fun. Bye-bye."
4 is so late.
Yeah, that's tomorrow,
late.
Joy.
Yeah,
You did
it's
a good
tomorrow
job.
morning. You did great.
I really lasted as long as I could, but I think that's the craziest thing I remember.
The wildest night.
Wildest
Sophia, what's the
night.
wildest night you ever
We
had?
hit up a lot of different places though. It was fun. Yeah, so
Or like the weirdest party that you ended up at.
I don't even know. I mean, high school for us, because I went to that little all-girls school, and then there were like other all-boys schools around. And so it was always like a house party where people would get together, and then it was always a big deal. Like if we were going from Pasadena, and the kids who like went to Loyola downtown, there were like kids from the West Side who
You
went
were
there. So
allowed to go downtown?
well, we wouldn't go downtown, but that's where one of the boys' schools was. And so it would be like, oh, the West Side boys are having a party in the Palisades on Saturday. And I was always the designated driver. I was always like, my mom will kill me. She's scary. I'll drive. And
I've got the minivan.
yeah, no, truly, I was just like, pile in the truck. Let's go. And
I believe that.
yeah,
Maureen is no joke.
100%.
Your mom is
Oh my God.
scary, man.
My mom is so scary.
She's awesome.
And my mom was just like, if you think you're ever going to get one over on me, you won't. And if you ever get drunk at a party, don't trust your idiot friends. Call me and I'll come pick you up. But you only won't be in trouble if I come pick you up. And I was like, well, I'll get in trouble or my mom will come pick me up. And that's social sue. So I just can't do this. I think I got drunk like 5 times in high school. Ever.
Oh my God, you got drunk in high school? I wish.
I was just outside of Los Angeles. Kids were getting drunk like every night.
That's great.
I was like, everyone made fun of me for being such
That's
a
true.
goody
I remember
two-shoes.
like when we lived there, people were like, the kids in LA do cocaine in middle school. And I was like, well,
I
we
never
gotta get
saw
out
any
of
of
here.
that. No,
What was your
I never
craziest
saw
party,
any of that,
Hillary?
but
See,
we go to the West Side.
I'm trying to think of crazy part. You know, once I moved
Cast
to
parties
Wilmington,
after shows. Come on, rap parties.
Oh
Those
my
get
God.
crazy.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
those weren't necessarily wild. When we moved to Wilmington, that's when my party game was like strong. Because we were like, people had snakes and we were lighting things on fire. And, you know, like it was a whole scene.
Well, and you came from New York where the bars are open till 4 in the
Yes.
morning on the
Yeah.
weekends. So
Yes.
you were in
I
the
came
4
from,
a.m.
like,
game.
Party Central. I would say the weirdest party I ever went to was when I was like 18 or 19 at MTV, and Gideon Yago, who did news on TRL, was a
I
smoke
thought you
show.
said nudes.
Well, I wish.
And I was like,
No, listen.
where is this going?
So Gideon Yago was the Jake Jagelski of MTV.
Ooh.
Like
Oh.
the perfect dude. He went to Columbia. He was so smart. He did like Rock the Vote. And like, he was just so cool, like beyond cool and so handsome. And he invited me to like a party in an abandoned building. And I was like, okay. And so
Okay.
I had a boyfriend, of course. And so we go to this like party, in an abandoned, like I'm pretty sure like there was no power in this building. Like it was so weird. And we rolled up and everyone was like rave dancing and it was like really like thumpy music and also like plastic all over the place, just like on the walls. And it was like a Dexter kill room.
Yeah.
It was so fucking weird. But Gideon is the one who introduced me to this scene. And I was like, I have to pretend like I think this is so cool. He's so cool. And I remember like leaving being so relieved that I hadn't embarrassed myself. Like when you're in a scene like that, all you want to do is escape without being the butt of the joke.
100%.
That's it. That's
And
it.
when you're young and you're at a party, like you're especially that age, you're just insecure.
And the person who you put on a pedestal invites you, you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, how am I going to get through the next 2 hours of this? I have to go.
God.
Sometimes in situations like that, it's the anticipation that kills me. Like, oh man, I recently met someone who I just think is so cool. And I've thought that this person was cool forever. I can't tell you guys. Well, I'll tell you
You're
guys.
going to tell us who?
I'll tell you after, but I'm not going to tell
okay.
the world. And I was like, we have this one thing in common and it's kind of weird. And I'm going to come up with a really funny joke and it's going to be great. And then we met and we had the best conversation. And then she brought up the thing and completely in the most charming way, like undercut the opportunity for the joke. But I had been thinking about this joke for 2 weeks. And so I told the joke anyway. And it got so weird. She just kind of looked at me and then I was like, well, I'd been thinking about that for a while. Nope, now I sound like a startup. It got weirder and worse. And so I guess the moral of the story is that my awkward parties were not in high school. They're happening to me now as adults. And I'm not allowed in public anymore. I'm just not.
Oh, I love that so much.
Oh, it was bad.
funny.
We all geek out for different
All
people.
of us. Yep.
Sometimes it's Sophia's mystery friend. Sometimes it's Gideon Yago / Jake Jagelski. Joy, who do you
Gideon
geek out
Yago
for?
in a Dexter murder
Kill room.
rave.
Joy, who
my
do you geek
God.
out for?
Who is it?
Who's your
Well, you
geek
know
out?
who I geeked out about. He lived in an apartment building right next.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind. Anyway, secrets.
I cannot talk
between
about that.
girlfriends.
Secrets.
You guys can't know about this stuff.
But I did have. Here's one funny thing. I do remember when I lived in New York, and I went to a party for Nantucket Film Festival because I was doing a reading at the Nantucket Film Festival, which they never invited me back to because I was such a weird. I was so geeky about everybody there. But
Oh my God.
I was like, I remember I had this very serious conversation on a balcony of a New York apartment with a massive view over Tribeca, of the river. And I was talking with Fisher Stevens out on the patio for like 25 minutes, and he was great. And then I walked inside and I started talking with Tate Donovan, and he gave me his number.
Tate's a babe.
I know. And then I went home, and then the next day I was like, okay, I'm going to call him. And I did. And I left a message, and I thought it was very charming. And then he never called me back.
Oh, what? What?
Because I was not charming. I was so awkward and so babbling over myself and just had no.
I bet you weren't, but I feel
let me
you.
tell you, the thing about when I run into a man that I am attracted to, all my like cool, laid back joy goes away. And I suddenly become like, I don't know. My tongue doesn't fit in my mouth. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to stand. It's just so
Where do
stupid.
I put these hands?
What am I do with my body?
What are arms? Where do they go? No.
Forget about it.
Oy.
Well, good. All right. So we're going to throw some really comfortable parties, ladies. After all the awkward partying we've done.
Hey, we should take this opportunity to say we're going to throw a really comfortable party on March 23rd.
Yeah, we are.
With
Yes, we
Bryan
are.
Greenberg, and we hope all of you join us. I just wanted to
can't
throw
wait.
that in there. Just like
I
a
can't
slide into home base. Just, slide it in.
And you can get tickets to our wonderful party on loopedlive.com. That's looped, LOOPLIVE, loopedlive.com. Okay, we had a thought about something we need to talk about, and we came up with a way to do it. Okay, so now that we've established we're all terribly awkward at parties, I want to talk about my two favorite awkward people at Felix's awkward party. And that, hands down, Anna and Mal.
Oh, they're the cutest.
Oh, yeah. I love them.
Their little friendship and them breaking into the school and then deciding, when Mouth goes, it would be wrong to watch this, right? Maybe just a couple of minutes. Oh my God.
I love Brooke's confession that she would be with somebody like Marvin McFadden.
Like Senator
Come
McFadden.
on. That's priceless.
I
So
loved that.
juicy. I
Juicy.
no idea. Caught me so off guard that when Brooke said it, I felt like I was Mouth, and I was like, "Say what?"
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. And then when he says to Anna in the hall at the end, he goes, just don't hit on Brooke. I have enough competition for her.
I know, that was so cute.
Their little friendship. But I thought Daniela did such a gorgeous job in her confessional. And then the opportunity to have it again and for her to lean into who she is and be clearer about why she doesn't like the labels and how she doesn't have the answers. God, I just thought it was beautiful.
Man, I loved that the message of this one thing doesn't define me. That I thought is really powerful and beautiful and so much better than her original confession or moment or whatever you want to call it with that camera.
I just read this really wonderful editorial that was posted on Twitter. So I wish I knew who actually wrote it. And it was about gay characters on television and how, we're almost 20 years out from when this episode originally aired. And some things have changed, which is awesome. Some things have not. And we're seeing a lot of that right now play out in the news and also in television. There are more gay characters on TV now, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that they're better or that they're well written. And a lot of times gay characters can be used as like the punchline. They can be used as just kind of like checking the box. And that's really frustrating. And so there was a writer who was talking about the gay characters that make an impact to her as a gay writer. And she was like, it's the ones that don't have it figured out. It's the characters that are in their process of discovery and who are a little bit messy. And I appreciate that Anna doesn't just come out swinging, and allows room for discovery. Because when you are a teenager, I grew up with kids that have known since they were very, very little. And that's awesome. And I want that kind of reassurance and self-awareness for my friends. But there are also people who arrived at it later and really struggled because high school is all about being performative, right? And so if you're not performing something that's true to you, it gets very muddy. So that process of discovery is really important. And gay characters on TV that take the walk with the viewers are vital. And Anna, I love her for this. And she's just so earnest.
Yeah.
There's nothing false about Daniela.
No, and
that's true.
And I loved the earnestness and the nervousness in her first pass. Hopefully 50 years from now, it won't be a big deal. I'm bisexual. If it's still a big deal, surprise. Like what's it all going to mean? And then she realized that wasn't what she wanted to say. And in that second pass, after she admitted to Mouth, oh God, when she said, I thought I'd feel liberated. Instead, I'm back here. I'm back in the closet.
What a line.
Girl.
Oh, sweet. It was just so sweet. And you realize that it's for so many people in this moment of life, whenever their coming out happens, it's a little bit of coming out and then a little bit of back to safety and a little bit more. And
You got to test the waters, man.
yeah, and see if you have a safe person. If not even a group of safe people, do you have one safe person?
Yeah.
It's so valuable. It's just the message that it's okay to be messy and take your time and explore. And you don't have to have everything right and sorted out right now, especially for high school. God,
No, and
this measure of perfection is just so tough.
we really, just so you guys at home know, have been trying to get Daniela on this show. Unfortunately, she's kind of like in demand right now, and she's working
so
like crazy.
busy.
So we're trying, literally every episode, we're like, can we have her now? Can we have her now? Can we have her now? I would have loved to have her for this.
I know.
Because
I know. I
she's
feel like we
so
should talk about this episode with her when she finally can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's just so good. And when you said that thing, Joy, you just reminded me when you said it's so important to show people it's okay to be messy. Everyone's a little bit of a mess in this episode. And some of it's painful. Nathan's in pain.
Ugh.
Some of it's beautiful. Jake's trying to figure himself out and Peyton's trying to figure out if she can be vulnerable with Jake. And there's
I'll figure Jake out. I'll figure his ass out.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
But I love these kids just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
In this time capsule, and even Brooke trying to figure herself out, saying, there's this double standard and it sucks. Guys are allowed to be like this and we're not. And God, I hope you guys fix that, because it makes it really hard for the girls to figure it out.
Brooke's time capsule monologue is so dope.
I loved
we
it.
didn't get to do monologues often. It really felt like going back to theater, because everyone was assigned, I'm going to do my monologue,
Yeah.
And you just had to sit in that room and you had to do it all in one pass,
Yeah.
And Brooke's monologue was awesome, because you just
Yeah,
see
Thanks.
boss Brooke show up.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved it.
Yeah.
I wish Haley had gotten a monologue.
You never did one as like a...
No, I wish they would have had me mail one in for the school or something. That would have been fun.
What would Haley
that
have
would have
said
been
in her
cool.
monologue?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
At that
Okay,
point in her
let's-
life, she's kissed sweet pillow lips Chris Keller.
I think Haley would say, I've always worked really hard, and I've always tried to do my best and be the best person that I could be. And I've gone off the example of my parents and so many people around me. And I take all the cautionary tales around me that I see and I put them in my arsenal of what not to do. And I am the person that everyone comes to for advice. And the truth is, I'm just a scared little girl and I don't have it all figured out. And I needed to take a minute and be reckless and be brave in a way that I've never been, and be unsafe. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I really hope that there's forgiveness waiting for me on the other side.
Girl, you don't even need forgiveness. You don't even need
No, but
it.
you know what? Look, people get hurt when you're messy, and you have to apologize for that. And that's okay. I think that's part of life. I think actually forgiveness is an incredibly integral part of a functioning society.
Yeah.
You have to be able to admit when you've made a mistake, because we all do.
Yeah.
And then be able to forgive when someone has hurt you because you've made a mistake. That is a basic functional need
Yeah.
for any community.
It's a choice.
And any person.
It's like not a magic thing. It's a choice. So when Haley went away, this is something that's going to hurt Nathan. Everybody sees
Yes.
it. You can see it coming. You as Joy, how did you feel about Haley's action of leaving?
It was hard.
Really?
It was hard to support her because, okay, so me as Joy when I was 20 or me as Joy now?
Well, when you were
Miss
20,
Joy-
you give me
Look,
both.
when I was 20.
I'm greedy.
I mean,
give
look,
me both.
when I was 20, it was hard because I so much was Haley and was trying to do everything right and wanted to set the perfect example and didn't want to do the wrong thing and I cared about trying to be perfect. Me now definitely does not care about that.
Done.
But,
Bye.
bye. I care about living a life of gratitude and just soaking up every moment of every day that I can with the people that I love, and just trying to do the right thing out of a place of gratitude, not out of a place of trying to check off all the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the major difference. It's very Valjean and Javert, if we really boil it down.
Jean Valjean. Oh my God. Joy, one of these days we're going to like reenact our Les Mis performance.
Oh my God. When did remember we did that? We ran through Les Mis in like 6 minutes.
It was
and I.
It was in Haley's apartment. It was for one of our PA's birthdays, our PA Dawn. It was her birthday. And we were like, we're going to perform the entirety of Les Mis in 6 minutes during this turnaround. And we did. And so one day we'll redo that. But I see what you're saying. Like you're softened now, like Jean Valjean from Les Mis.
Yes, it's like I was hard and I was, angry, and then I was also trying to live exactly right and do everything exactly the right way, which is a very legalistic and that sort of religious mindset. And now I think I've changed I know I've changed my perspective massively. So now it's like I feel like I'm living under this umbrella of grace where I'm just like, okay, so I can be a mess, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best, and I'm just super grateful. So that's it. Anyway, we're kind of getting off track. Sorry, but I just feel like watching Haley walk away with Nathan. I give her space for that now. Back then, it was a little harder to very long-windedly answer your question, Hilarie.
Yeah, I mean, I can see because we were there. I mean, we were friends with you when we were 22 years old when we were doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my head, I can hear you being like, that's not what a wife does. Like, I would never, like you have always been firm about justice and integrity. And so I can see you like reading this script and being like, what the
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I have room for her now. You got to make space for her.
You also got to go on tour.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I was just going to ask. What was it like? Because it's not like you were just sitting at home being like, I can't believe they wrote that. Like you were on tour.
Yeah. It was super cool.
You were out doing something cool. Was there like a conflict in it, or was tour just so all encompassing and busy?
Did you feel like you were betraying James?
No, but I missed him.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I didn't feel like I was betraying James. I had a blast. I was having so much fun. I was definitely experimenting with a new side of my life and a part of me that I'd always wanted to see come alive. So it was a great opportunity. It was so much fun.
I loved doing stops of the tour and being witness to that. Like,
yeah, because they flew
friend.
you guys out to come introduce the shows.
Yeah, to
I
like
never
MC
got to do
shows.
that. I never
You
got
didn't
to.
go?
What? No, I never got to do that.
Oh, I went on the road. I was on the tour bus. And God, I was just like, my friends are so freaking cool.
Well, now I'm pissed.
I was pumped. Where were you? Were you shooting a movie or something? Because I didn't know Hilarie, because I didn't get to go. We didn't get to go in the beginning. It was only when the show was wrapped. And then there were a couple more dates.
Right after this season, I went.
You were doing Secret Life, weren't you? That summer, weren't you? You were either doing that movie you did with Jason Ritter or The Secret Life of Bees. You were doing a movie that
you were
summer.
on a movie.
No, I did the movie in Louisiana right after this, where I met Elizabeth Arnois. It was Elizabeth Arnois and Amanda Seyfried. Because then when we come back, like the next year, Liz Arnois shows up to play Shelley. Because I was like, hey man, I made a friend. Let me have her.
What was that movie called?
Cool. Who knows?
Come on.
It'll come to me.
This is where we need to insert the Jeopardy music.
Solstice. It was Solstice.
Solstice.
Hey, we did it.
Were you guys sisters?
No.
Because you all kind of look alike.
I played like the super like waspy, wears pastels like rich bitch.
Oh, interesting. Incidentally, very similar to the character Hilarie plays on Good Sam, which is also coming up on March 23rd.
March 23rd.
You're right. The character I play on Good Sam
what I
is
was
like the
thinking.
grown-up version of who I was in Solstice. Just like
She's very fancy.
Like I have a meeting to get to. I skipped a PTA meeting for this.
Guys, I have a question.
Okay.
How the hell does Dan know how to find everybody everywhere all the time?
No, like seriously, I have a theory. Does Dan Scott Motors put trackers in the cars he sells?
Did trackers exist in
everybody is.
2005?
Yes, don't you remember there was a big scandal because paparazzi who were working for TMZ had put trackers under Jessica Simpson's car?
Oh my God, that's horrendous.
No, you guys, this was a thing. They were
real
doing
life?
it to like all they were doing it to all these celebrities. There was a whole big lawsuit. I totally remember. And because everyone was like, how are they always finding
Scum
these
of the
people
earth,
in these
man.
like really weird private places? And I'm literally
John
thinking
Mayer's
to
house.
myself, I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but yes. So I was like, is Dan Scott like OG TMZ? Does he track people?
Yeah, maybe.
What's
He
going
would.
on?
He's such a freak. It's just so weird that he shows up in
Yeah.
church. Like, first of all, why is Dan walking into a church?
But he doesn't turn his phone off.
I know. He's just so like, why would he be in there
love
except
it.
that he's following Jules?
Sometimes our show is so on the nose. It's
Yeah.
just like Jules is in a church praying because she's in such
Yeah.
a conundrum.
Right.
Like, all right.
Guys, when I
And
feel
Dan
like
knows
shit
where to find her.
and I want to talk to Jesus about it, I'm just going to go to my bedroom. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
go into a physical church.
Me too. I usually go into the bathroom.
cry
but
alone.
Magically, every single time I walk into the bathroom, Mommy! Like without fail for the last 11
Because
years.
your daughter's got a tracker on you is what.
I was just going to say it. I love it.
But Dan is so devious in this. And I was so unsettled when the boys got out of jail.
Yeah.
And it's clear that Lucas has shared everything with Nathan.
Yeah.
Everything. And Dan, who is a man of secrets, says, good. I'm glad you told him. Your brothers, like you should have told him. And it just felt like really bad foreshadowing. Like,
Yeah,
what
I
is
agree.
Dan going to spill to Keith?
To Keith.
Who's so vulnerable and so happy right now.
Who just bought a house for him and Jules.
Oh, he's so fragile. He's so
And-
fragile right now.
And the boys get arrested just after Dan has said to Jules he's going to let this one go. And she says, I don't believe you. Oh,
Yeah.
it gave me the
rough.
chills.
Would you
I was like,
believe
I
him?
don't like it. No. I mean, Maria looks so shattered sitting in that scene. I mean, she did a beautiful job just sitting in that church like that. She just looks broken and afraid. And it was like, that was how I felt on the inside when he said that. You told him you should have, your brothers. Ugh. Something bad's going to happen.
Yep. I feel it. I feel it coming.
Well, and she
In the
that
air
scene,
tonight?
She, you guys are.
I set you up, girl.
I loved it. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
No, but she has to express so much in those scenes because it is a little bit of a choppy storyline because it's like we just jump into it sometimes.
Yeah.
And she has to express that she really does love Keith, that she's really wanting to be with him. She's afraid of this man who originally hired her and now is like lording this information over her head. Like it's a lot to articulate in these scenes without being able to say that. And so Maria, with just like a disgusted look, is just like, who are you? Like,
Yeah, what monster.
who did this to you? You're terrible. Can we talk about the kiss though? When Keith takes her by the hair, when he runs his hand through her hair and kisses her.
Ooh,
Thanks, Keith. We all needed that
thanks,
tonight.
Keith. Yeah, we need the loving
Craig's-
touch.
Craig's earnest face in that scene.
Guys,
Killed me.
it makes me cringe. I'm sorry. I want to love it. I want to be, it makes me like run far, far away.
What?
What
When
do you
people touch your
mean?
hair?
No.
No.
When a man buys you a house?
He's so earnest. He's so eager. He's so needy. He so needs the validation of that he's doing it right. I don't know. Maybe this is my childhood trauma, guys. I don't know. I'm just if I can't deal with it.
It's
Deal with it. Does nobody else have this issue?
It's not your vibe, Joy. I mean, I'm your friend, and I know you well enough to know that you like a little a dirt on the boot. You know what I mean?
I like a little grouch. Yeah. I don't know.
It's funny to me though, because I'm like, needy. I didn't read him giving her a house as needy.
It feels needy.
I'm listening.
I love you're so non-judgmental. It feels needy, like he's not actually just giving it. He needs to. It
be
feels
the hero.
To me, my interpretation of it is that it's actually more about him needing the validation of being the guy who could provide this in this moment, who can show up and be, yes, Hilarie, the hero. And it doesn't just feel natural and authentic and just there. He's just trying so hard to be exactly what she needs that it really puts me off as a romantic interest.
Sometimes these writers stress me out because adulting, right? It takes a lot of effort, and we all know you don't buy a house in 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
It takes so long to close on a house.
So long.
Could you imagine if you had just gotten engaged and the person who's supposed to be your partner goes, look at this giant decision I made without you?
Yeah, that's a weird move.
It's intense.
I'd be like, what if I hate this kind of house?
Yeah.
Are we stuck here? Yeah.
Jeffrey had bought a house
IRL, it's weird.
2 months before I met him.
No.
And so he had a house. And I was like, okay, I guess I live here now. That's weird. And the second he did a movie here in New York, we'd been together, I don't know, maybe a year. And he was like, oh, there's a little teeny tiny log cabin for sale. I was like, done, we're moving. We bought this place and never went back to his house and lodge. Never went back. We went and finally sold our shit. And I walked outside and the neighbors were like, oh, hey, are you the new neighbors? And I'm like, no. We're the old neighbors.
We're leaving.
We're done here.
Bye-bye.
No, it's an energy thing. When you're in a new relationship, you make decisions together.
Together.
Also,
Yeah, especially as big as a house. That's a big
property
deal.
decisions take a solid 8 months.
Yeah.
They take a long time.
Yeah, I had a guy buy me flowers before a date once. They arrived a few hours before the date. And I was like, I gotta go. I can't do this. No. It's too
Joy, I cannot wait for Sophia and I to debrief whoever you become serious about next. He'll come to us and we'll be
I can't wait.
Hold on.
No.
There's some ground rules.
So I can't even
friend.
imagine buying a house. Somebody buying you a house before you.
Oh my God. Be like, no, honey, no. The thing that you think is sweet, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Ignore her.
Oh my God.
Let's move on to the Andy then of it all. Because Andy's showing up in a different way. And
I love the way Andy shows up.
I love the way he shows up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Danger. He's dangerous.
I sleep with a baseball bat in my room. Italian part of me is that's the way I want a man to show up for me. Fuck him up. Call and figure out what there is to get. To destroy him.
I love that Karen is finally on the warpath.
Yeah.
She has been so steady and patient and kind and just be generous and setting an example for my son. And now, no holds barred, man. She is just letting loose.
I mean, her in that freaking mediation meeting.
Your ass frat boy haircut.
Your assiness. That's one of those things for our friends at home that really kills us when, you're on television and you can't say words normal people use when they're angry. So you just have to keep saying assy ass face.
Yeah.
Because you can't swear and say you motherfucker, you took my kid, God, it's so, but she did it and she did it beautifully.
Straight-faced. She did that straight-faced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
And Paul remained straight-faced as well. God bless. someone
True.
was
While she did it.
hurling that at me, I wouldn't take it. All right, I'm going through my notes here. Guys, we take so many notes when we watch these things. The Tim confessional, God bless Brett Claywell, because he has to improvise so much of his stuff because they didn't really write for him. They would just say like, okay, go Brett, you know?
Yeah.
And he would. And I think he's so funny, and I wish that Tim was utilized more because he's a hoot. Okay, what else? Keith kissing Jules, we did that part. Sex is the easy part. Giving your heart to someone is the hard part. God, girl.
Yeah.
I've had so many fans like ask me to write that out, and like,
Oh, really?
yeah. So I was like, that's a weird one.
Wait, what do you mean?
When Peyton's like, sex is the easy part. It's giving your heart to someone that's the hard part. And people are like,
Yeah.
can you write this out on a thing at a convention? And I'm like,
Oh, interesting.
okay. Okay.
Hey,
Sure.
Where are you
whatever
going to put
floats
this
your boat,
is my
man.
question.
You know what I want written out from this episode? I want that the thing that Anna said at the end when she says, I'm just trying to find my way. I guess that part is timeless.
Yeah.
We had
I was
some
like,
doozies.
that's what I want fan art of.
I'm proud of me too. Via Brooke
I
Davis.
loved that.
Yeah. It's good.
That was nice.
I'm proud
I'm
of
proud
me
of you
too.
girls. I'm proud of you girls, and I'm proud of me too. I think we've
Yeah.
all come a long way.
Well, and then Nathan talking about Haley. If I love her and she loves me,
Oh,
what's there to figure out?
yeah. And I loved Lucas when they finally start talking again. And Luke says, your marriage wins out over some confused kiss. Remember the real Haley,
Yes.
even when she's lesser too.
Good advice.
Oh,
That
What
gave us
good
all chill
advice.
bumps. Because, like, you know,
Yeah.
nobody's perfect.
if this was all about loving perfect people, no one would ever be loved. Ever.
No.
That is good advice as well.
Mm. Mm.
Guys, we've given you a lot to think about today.
Hey, what kind of weirdo parties have you guys been to? Will you tell us? Because
Yeah. Oh my God. Bonus points if you have pictures from your weird high school parties. We want to see them.
tag us.
Should we spin a wheel?
I think
I
it's
think
time.
we should.
I love most likely to. Most likely to say something inappropriate in a time capsule. Ooh.
Most likely to become a travel blogger.
This actually feels like Erica Marsh to me.
I was going to say
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully believe it. She's got that little host sensibility.
Mhm.
You know she'd plan the shit out of a great itinerary.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hey, y'all. I'm here in Italy.
Oh my God, isn't this
I
gorgeous?
love her so much. Catherine Bayless is so cool. But in
She's
real
a
life,
dream.
it's Kate Vogel. Kate Vogel went and lived in Paris and like did a whole blog about it. And it's like,
that's right.
yeah, she's like a travel blogger and she does cool stuff. Is there anybody else in our
Totally.
cast that does that?
I mean,
I don't think so.
I feel like we all kind of travel a lot, but I don't know about blogging.
Well, Sophia,
don't
you're
think
always like, I'm fishing in Montana. I'm in Italy. I'm in Dubai. Where am
I do
visiting?
travel a lot, but I don't have the patience to be
We
like,
need a-
and then I boarded the L train. Like, I don't know.
I'm not going to
I
write a
don't
book
know,
about
guys.
it. Hey, you know who has adventures and writes about them sometimes?
Who?
Bryan Greenberg.
I knew you were going to say it.
Oh, you mean the Bryan Greenberg that's coming on our live event on March 23rd?
On March 23rd.
Just a pregame for our Good Sam appearance.
Woo! March 23rd is going to be a double up with your girls. And I hope you all are ready because it's going to be
Yes.
quite a special evening. And guys, next up on this show, we've got season 2, episode 16. Somewhere a clock is ticking. I'm telling you, it's a ticking time bomb and it's damn Scott. Damn Scott. Am I okay?
He's
It's
damn Scott. You called
It's damn Dan Scott.
We are only calling him Damn Scott from now
Damn
on.
Scott. Done.
Oh, we love you
You're
guys. Thanks for
welcome.
joining us. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you next week. Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review You can also follow us on Instagram at Drama Queens OTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens.